Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Unpopular Aussie Opinions, where we dive headfirst into the conversations that most folks in the sports world would rather sweep under the rug. I'm your host, and today, we are tackling something that's got the rugby league community in absolute knots. Picture this: the hallowed halls of Red Hill, the heart of Broncos country, and there stands Kevin Walters, the man who steered this club through storms and triumphs, his eyes glistening with tears, voice cracking as he bids farewell to one of the brightest stars in the game. Reece Walsh, the electric fullback who's lit up Suncorp Stadium like a Christmas tree, has just dropped the bombshell. He's leaving the Brisbane Broncos at the end of the season. Now, before you lot start firing off comments calling me a doom and gloom merchant, hear me out. This isn't just another player jumping ship for a bigger pay packet. It's a seismic shift that's exposing cracks in the foundation of what we thought was an unbreakable bond. And in true Unpopular Aussie Opinions fashion, I'm here to say it: good riddance to the fairy tale. Walsh bolting could be the jolt this club needs to stop romanticizing loyalty and start building a dynasty that actually wins consistently. Yeah, you heard that right. While the coach chokes up on live telly, I'm over here arguing that this tears-up moment might just be the best thing to happen to the Broncos since Alan Langer hung up his boots. Let's rewind a bit, shall we? For those of you who live under a rock, or perhaps you're a Storm fan pretending not to care, Reece Walsh burst onto the scene like a thunderclap. Born in Moreton Bay, just north of Brisbane, this kid was always destined for the bright lights. He debuted for the Broncos back in 2021, but it was his stint with the Warriors that really turned heads. Remember that? Loaned out because the club couldn't see the forest for the trees, and suddenly he's dazzling in Auckland, showing speed that'd make a wallaby jealous and footwork smoother than a barista's latte art. He came back to Brisbane in 2023, and bam, fullback extraordinaire. Tries that defy physics, offloads that leave defenders in the dust, and that cheeky grin that says, "Catch me if you can, mate." Under Walters, Walsh became the centerpiece of a Broncos resurgence. We saw it culminate in that heart-stopping grand final win last month against the Storm. Walsh was everywhere, scoring that try in the dying minutes, stripping the ball from Harry Grant like it was a Sunday Arvo snag on the barbie. The premiership parade down Queen Street was electric, with Walsh hoisted on shoulders, the city painted maroon and gold. But here's the unpopular bit: that victory masked deeper issues. The Broncos have been feast or famine for years. Grand final glory one season, wooden spoon the next. Walsh's brilliance papers over the cracks, but it's not sustainable. He's carried this team on his back, and now, at 23 years old, he's wise enough to know when to cash in his chips. So, the announcement. It came out of nowhere, or did it? Whispers had been floating around for weeks, offers from down south, rumours of a Sydney powerhouse dangling a contract that'd make your eyes water. The Roosters? The Rabbitohs? Who knows, but the details leak like a sieve. A 5-year deal, reportedly north of $1 million a season, with incentives that scream, "We want you as our franchise face." Walsh steps up to the podium at a packed press conference, flanked by his manager and a stone-faced club hierarchy. "Brisbane will always be home," he says, voice steady but eyes darting to the back of the room where Walter sits, ramrod straight. "But sometimes, to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. I've given everything here, and now it's time for the next chapter." The room erupts, journalists scrambling for quotes, fans in the stands outside chanting his name one last time. And then, Walters, the coach, who's seen it all from state of origin battles to boardroom brawls, takes the mic. His hands tremble slightly as he adjusts his tie, that familiar walrus moustache twitching. "Reece, son," he starts, and that's when it hits. The tears well up, spilling over as he recounts the journey. "From the day you walk through these doors as a scrawny kid with big dreams, you've been the heartbeat of this club. We've fought together, bled together, won together. This hurts more than any loss ever could." The camera zooms in, capturing every quiver, every sniffle, and social media explodes. Hashtags like #WalshWeeps and #BroncoHeartbreak trend nationwide within minutes. Look, I get it. Walters isn't just a coach, he's a Broncos legend, a bloke who bled maroon before any of us could spell premiership. He took over in 2021 when the club was circling the drain, post-Bennett era, and turned it around with grit and guile. Walsh was his protege, the spark that reignited the fire. Those tears? They're raw, mate, paternal pride mixed with the gut punch of loss. But here's where I stir the pot. Is this emotional outpouring helping or hindering? In a league where sentimentality can cost you premierships, clinging to one player like he's the second coming risks stagnation. The Broncos need to evolve, not eulogize. Think about it. Walsh's departure isn't betrayal, it's business. Rugby league's a brutal beast, short careers, high stakes, and contracts that vanish faster than a cold beer on a hot day. We've seen it before: Sonny Bill Williams jumping codes, Cooper Cronk chasing rings in Melbourne. Walsh, at his peak, deserves a stage where he's not the Lone Ranger. Brisbane's forward pack is solid but predictable. Think Payne-Haas bulldozing, but lacking that X-factor edge. The halves? Still a work in progress post-Reynolds. Walsh's magic has bailed them out too often. Without him, Walters has to innovate. Blood young guns like Selwyn Cobbo in new roles chase a crafty playmaker from the market. It's uncomfortable, sure, but discomfort breeds champions. And let's not ignore the player side. Reece Walsh isn't just a footballer. He's a father, a young bloke navigating fame's minefield. Remember the off-field drama? The King Hit incident, the media circus that nearly broke him. Brisbane loves its heroes, but it devours them too, expectations crushing like a late tackle. Leaving could be his reset button. A fresh city, less scrutiny, more space to breathe. Sure, the money's obscene, but it's earned. He's the NRL's box office draw, the kid who makes highlight reels look pedestrian. Why shouldn't he chase the bag while his legs still pump? Now, the fan reaction. Oh boy, it's a doozy. Broncos diehards are split down the middle. Half are torching Walsh online, calling him a Judas, forgetting he just handed them a flag. The other half? They're quietly nodding, whispering that it's time for change. Me? I'm in the latter camp, and it's unpopular because it challenges the myth of unwavering loyalty. In Aussie sport, we idolise the one-club man, Darius Boyd, Cameron Smith, but that's romantic bollocks. Modern footy demands mobility. Clubs poach talent, players leverage it. Pretending otherwise is like expecting your Holden to run on fairy dust. Walter's tears humanise the whole saga, don't they? In an era of polished PR and emoji reactions, that vulnerability cuts through. It reminds us these aren't just suits and stats, they're people with scars. Post-announcement, he pulled Walsh aside for a private chat. Leaked footage shows them embracing, Walters clapping him on the back like a proud dad at a school assembly. "Go conquer the world, kid," he reportedly said. Classy, emotional, but now the work begins. Recruitment drives kick off tomorrow. Whispers of a Titans reunion with Tanner Boyd, or poaching from the Panthers' depth. The 2026 roster? It's a blank canvas, and tears won't fill the gaps. But spare a thought for the broader league. Walsh's exit ripples outward. The Broncos weaken, temporarily, mind you, and suddenly the premiership race opens up. Penrith? Still favourites, but with Cleary nursing niggles. Melbourne? Desperate for a spark post-grand final heartbreak. And Sydney clubs? Salivating at the chance to snag a prodigy like Walsh. It's chaos, the kind that fuels rivalries and fills stadiums. As an Aussie sports tragic, I live for this drama. It's what separates footy from tiddlywinks. So, where does this leave us? As the dust settles on Walter's teary farewell, I'm urging you Broncos faithful, don't mourn, adapt. Walsh leaving isn't the end, it's evolution. He's off to write his legend elsewhere, and Brisbane? You'll rise again, fiercer for the forge. That's my unpopular take. Loyalty's overrated when premierships are on the line. What about you? Hit the comments. Should Walsh stay or go? Is Walter's emotion inspiring or indulgent? Smash that like button if your team change. Subscribe for more bites at the cherry in Aussie sports underbelly, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, keep those opinions unpopular and your tackles legal. Cheers.